I was like, damn. That's brutal. So then I thought to myself, maybe she's right. So I started to come up with this new way to deal with this. And anytime I would get triggered by Donald Trump, or we'd be talking about a dinner or whatever, this was the election of 2016, I had a particularly challenging year that year. And I was like, people you talk about Donald, I'd want to go, but then I'd stop myself and I'd have to say it out loud no matter where I was. This is the rule I gave myself, and I'd have to say, I am that I am. People go like, what? I'm like, never mind. I was like Tourette's, I am that I am. I'm trying to get out really fast, I am. So, I'm like, 2 years ago, I started looking around the world, I'm like, damn, why is the world so full of pedophilia, government corruption, and killing innocent women and children? Wait a minute. Is this because these are the carve-outs that I had? That my world became full of pedophiles, blackmailing other pedophiles who are operating in government corruption and being used as justification for killing innocent women and children in Gaza? That really became my world. Think about this for a moment. What are the things that you've carved out? And start looking around. Start noticing the things that you've carved out and continue to judge are the things that plague your world. It's a matrix of mind. How many of you can relate to this? Ooh, that's why you're here. That's why you're here. Because doing things the same way and expecting a different result is the definition of what? Insanity. And to be well-adjusted to a maladjusted world is not a signification. It's not a signal of your sanity. It's just doing things the same way as everyone else. So if you're ready to make a change, if you're ready to start seeing yourself differently and start living a divine life, because guess what? If everyone around me is a projection of my subconscious mind, forming this you-inverse around me, then that means literally every person might have a divine message for me. That might explain why I've had at least 50 or 60 of you guys come at me saying, I have a divine message for you. There's a limit, right? How many of you felt compelled to give me a divine message? Come on, you can raise your hand. I've seen you, lots of you already come over to me. It's okay, it's because it's meant to be. Every experience I encounter, every person I meet, every single circumstance can be divine. It might even be a miracle. There's three types of people. People that don't believe in miracles. And guess what? They'll never experience a miracle. By definition, Heisenberg's uncertainty principle in physics will tell me they'll never experience a miracle. Then there's those people that believe in miracles, and they might experience miracles, depending on the degree of their belief. And then there's another person which realizes that life itself is the miracle. That we are the miracle. And literally they're living in moment-by-moment synchronicity. Carl Jung said you could track your level of ascension by the number of synchronicities you're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. I've been tracking mine. I'm down to like one every minute. That's when you start moving into heavenly earth. The signs on the road as I drive by are exactly my thoughts mirrored. The people that come up to me. Yesterday, some wonderful woman gave me a wonderful gift. And she had no idea what it was that she gave me, how it was so significant to me. Because all day yesterday, I've been getting this download about my upcoming trip to England, right, in May, and which is now sold out. But if you're in England or you want to travel to England, on May 16th, we're going to meet everyone there. We're going to have at least 1,444 people there. That's what I've been told, at least. And so you can join us. for this big crown chakra activation that we're doing in Sterling, which is a really, really significant place. It's the place of King Arthur. And I remembered that there's this place called Arthur's Own, O''O''N. And King Arthur had apparently built, because Arthur was supposed to be around the 5th century, 6th century AD. And this was just after the Romans kind of left. And he had built a beehive-shaped building, which we see in Freemasonry. We see that symbol in a lot of places. Right? Mormons use it as well, because a lot of the stuff with Mormonism came from Joseph Smith, who had been a master mason. And this beehive shape was on my mind all day, and I remembered that at Grant Tower, Urquhart Castle in Loch Ness, which is where my family had come from, there was also a beehive-shaped building. It was exactly a replica of this one that had been dismantled by the Bruce family. And it's interesting because she couldn't have known any of this. I'd literally been thinking about beehives and bees all day. And she came up to me and gave me a gift. And the gift she gave me were like coasters with a golden bee in a hexagonal shape. Now, of course, I look at that, I'm like, cool. Another synchronicity, which tells me exactly that I'm in the right path, right? Every person you meet can be divine if you let them be divine. If you love them, they love you back. We don't ever escape Earth. The only thing we can do is transcend the need to continue to experience the suffering. And the way we do that is by falling in love with Earth just the way that it is. It's the moment you no longer want to escape it that you enter into a celestial existence. And I can tell you, as sure as I'm standing here right now, this is true. It's our judgments that make the world a dystopian nightmare. So, if you're ready to let that go, you don't have to suffer anymore once you come to this realization. Once you realize that you're not separate from the world around you, it's actually you. You're the conscious mind. I know what I know, that's me. The world around me is I know what I don't know. But then the world that's even beyond that boundary, some might call that entropy or randomness. Well, I can tell you this right now, there's no such thing as randomness. There's only lack of high enough resolution to perceive, where the randomness is actually patterned. I used to believe in coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence anymore. I just was too close to the tree to see the forest. So I needed to zoom out to be able to see the larger pattern. And once I could see the larger pattern, I can tell you, every time I went searching for a pattern, I found the pattern in the most complex of complex. And all pattern recognition is actually your ability to perceive higher dimension. You see, I did a podcast with my friend Robert Breedlove, who's here, in the front. And during the podcast, we're talking about things like, crows. And what color is a crow? It's a bird of alchemy, right? Bird of alchemy is a crow. And a lot of people, by the way, this past year I got so many questions about things like polyamory and stuff like this. One thing I can tell you, I did notice, I'm like, wait, all the birds that are in alchemy, which is basically the crow, the swan, the pelican, right, and the phoenix, right? So the crow, the swan, and the peacock. They're all monogamous. Interesting. They pick life partners. Isn't that strange? I think that's something profound. There's something very deep and profound in that. So, what color is a crow? Is a crow black? Is it black? How do you think it's black? Like a really dark black raven, right? But if you look really close at that raven or crow, it's iridescent rainbow colored. It has every color of the rainbow in it. Look real close. Look it up on Google. You'll find it. It's literally iridescent rainbow. So it's like the higher octave of the color. Does that say something about the black crows in our life? And that's the first stage of alchemy. It's called the nigredo, which means the blackening or meeting your shadow. And it's through the shadow integration that we alchemize and see the full rainbow spectrum of the rainbow body. It's only by integrating the shadow that you can experience this higher order ascension for yourself. This is why when people ask me, it's like, oh, can you wear a t-shirt or a hat or something that says light worker? And I say, because then they'll pay me, to do it on my podcast or something. I'm like, no, I can't do that. Only if you give me a t-shirt or hat that I can wear at the same time that says shadow worker too. Because there is no light without darkness. There can be no light. If we turned off all the lights in here, there's no windows here to the outside world, would there still be light if all the walls were painted Vanta black and they could absorb all color and everything, and we had all lights off, would we actually be in true darkness? No. No, because guess what? The air is full of nitrogen, and the nitrogen itself has a spectral emission. It's emanating photons of light. That's how we know when we look at a telescope, oh, there's a pocket of helium, or there's a pocket of hydrogen. We know this based on its reflection spectra. So that means that there's reflection spectra and absorption spectra. And whenever we see white light, its absorption would be black. Black is just absorbing all colors. There's no such thing as light without darkness. There must be the absorption of the light. And we tend to think, oh, darkness is just the absence of light. Well, wait, let me ask you a question. Is goodness the absence of evil? Just because I have no goodness, does that mean I'm evil? It's very different, right? It's a very different thing. So this concept of what is good, what is evil, what you have to start realizing is, wait, all the facts I thought I learned were actually just facets of a larger prism of truth. And the only way I can actually learn the full truth is by accumulating up all possible subjective perspectives. Accumulate all the facets. That might explain why Source Creator divides itself into the many so it can experience itself. They said, wow. Wow. Right? Wow. Wait a minute. So then we're all like blockchain node validators? And what's on the blockchain is our emotional states. So we're basically accumulating up emotional states. Okay, so if I wanted to ask you a question in data, who's in data science here? Anyone in data science? Okay, so if I asked you a question about data science, how could I take subjective information and objectify it? There's a way to do it. It's called like large number analysis. You could do large data set analysis to be able to find norms within data sets using mean values, right? So you could actually find mean values within this, and you could say, okay, so if I wanted to understand what's it like to feel sad, if I could accumulate all sadness across 8.1 billion people on Earth and analyze it from every possible perspective and viewpoint, could I create a nomogram of the data to be able to say, this is what sadness means, and then have empathy for sadness? Maybe. But the only way that would work is if everybody was inputting their actual emotional states on their experiences. And by the way, how many of you had an experience in your life where you said, geez, that was the worst moment I ever had in my whole life? When my father died. When my mother passed away. When I lost my girlfriend. Whatever it is. Have you ever had moments like that? And then look back with the benefit of time and saw that actually it turned into some of the best things that ever happened in your life? You know, I got invited to go back to my high school in Nebraska, Papillion, Nebraska, for the Hall of Fame event. So they had this big event, everything was really cool. I didn't even know what I was walking into. It was like this big black tie thing, and everyone's like giving talks, and all my teachers were giving talks about me and everything there. This is like almost 20 years ago. And I was embarrassed because afterwards I was trying to introduce my teachers to my parents, and I didn't remember about half of their names. Ouch. And I was trying to think about it later. I'm like, why couldn't I remember the name of that teacher? What the hell? And I realized, oh wow, the only teachers I could remember the names of were the hard ones. Is that how it's going to be in life? That we remember those experiences that pushed us the hardest? Would we ever choose, if I'm a mountain climber, am I going to be happy climbing the mountain behind my house or the hill behind my house? Probably not. Because somehow in that moment of pushing ourselves to our highest extreme, living on the edge of a knife, we somehow feel our most alive. I would probably want to climb Mount Everest if I were a mountain climber, even though I know that there's a whole bunch of frozen carcasses up near the summit of people that had the same damn thought I did. Because we're here to experience spiritual hormesis. Spiritual hormesis. Hormetics, not hermetics, it's different. Hormetics is something like doing an ice plunge. Ever done that? Come with me on a trip to Antarctica, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. It's intense, right? It's like you feel like you got stabbed by 1,000 knives. And then you get kind of used to it. But somehow something changes in you, because what you're really doing is you're practicing this idea. It's like fasting. It's like you're practicing this idea of putting yourself through this hormetic process. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We're doing that here on Earth in this school, this spiritual life simulation game that we all volunteered for. And by the way, when we die, we can't wait to come back. Imagine that. You spend your whole life, because of forgetting, you spend your whole life on, get me the hell out of this place. Then you get on the other side, you're like, oh, put me back in, coach. Put me back in the game. We love this game. And you know what? A game can feel kind of like a nightmare until you realize it's a game. So, congratulations. You all now know it's a game. Now, some people are playing in God mode. Other people don't even know they have a joystick. There's another context of 3 types of people. Some people make shit happen. Other people watch things happen. Then the third type of people are the ones wondering, what the hell just happened? Where's your joystick? No, don't tell me. You're in a game. You want to learn how to play it. Okay? The basic principle is, this is not complex. You don't need to be a mathematician to figure this out. Here's the secret. It's you. Let that silence permeate into your soul, that you never ever forget this moment. It's you. What do I mean by that? Every one of us is totally unique. Your mission here on life is to live your uniqueness. We've spent our whole lives thinking, oh, I'm going to accumulate shame if I'm different than everybody else, so I want to fit in with everybody else. I don't want to be that kid sitting against the barnyard wall that doesn't get picked by the captain of the baseball team. So I want to conform into being something that I'm not. The reason you're here this weekend is to shed all the aspects of yourself that you are not. By remembering, I am that I am. You spent your whole lifetime saying, I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not that person, I'm not this. Look what they do that I'm not. Judging other people for the things that you might actually be tempted by but not doing, or the things that you might be harboring as just simple resentment, or possibly the things that you are doing that you just don't want to tell anybody about. And this is exactly why the girl that you date, right, or the guy that you date in junior high or high school that's like the most religious and has all the tightest rules and everything, are the wildest. Who has not experienced that? We've all seen that. It's Jimmy Swaggart going, yeah, I did. You know, I was with a harlot. The last Sunday is like, don't be looking at those harlots. We are what we judge. Until you finally let go of it and say, oh, let bygones be bygones. I'm just going to be me. So for me, like, okay, so I graduated from high school. What job am I going to have? I didn't want to be a doctor because that was going to be too limiting. I didn't want to be a lawyer, even though I liked lawyer shows and all that stuff. You know, I watched on TV, CSI, all that kind of junk. And then I'm like, well, okay, what about businessman? Okay. Maybe I can be that, and then I can still be into medicine and biology. And I didn't want to pigeonhole myself because I realized very early on that mathematics applied, or applied mathematics, is geometry, and applied geometry is physics, and applied physics is chemistry, and applied chemistry is biology, and applied biology is psychology, and applied psychology is sociology, and applied sociology is philosophy, and applied philosophy is mathematics. Where there are no separations, we made separations, the way we teach in the world. And so I decided I didn't want to be pigeonholed into one thing, so I decided to go, okay, I'll be an international business guy who can work in mergers and acquisitions and do legal stuff, and I can also be in healthcare because that fills my desire for helping the world and helping people that are sick or whatever, because I thought I need to save the world, of course. Because we all have a hero bias in this game. Here's the point. Even villains are heroes. I'm not afraid of people with darkness. We all have darkness. I'm only afraid of people that believe they have none. Those are the ones that do the craziest shit in the world. Under the banner of righteousness. And yet, we all do it too. We didn't realize it. So the moment we finally say to ourselves, everything around me, I am that I am. We end the arc of I'm not that, and deflection and pain. You think maybe this is why the name of God is I am that I am? Isn't that beautiful? Everyone you meet, every circumstance you encounter, it can all be magical. You just have to let the magic in. And then every day you start believing more in miracles. You're going to experience more and more miracles. You can live a divine existence, and it's not going to be limited just to your mental or psychological frame. It actually extends to your physical body. Because the moment you start living this path, you'll go through a dramatic physical transformation. I know this. I did. I absolutely did. But again, when I was in high school, I didn't know. I mean, if you asked me, what are things you're interested in? I'd be like, oh, I love Indiana Jones. I love Iron Man. I would love to, you know, I always liked math and geometry, and so I really liked Dr. Strange when it came out and everything. And I was like, if I could pick my job, what I would love to do is, geez, it'd be cool if I could somehow be some combination of Indiana Jones, Tony Stark, Dr. Strange, right? So I'm going around the world, these ancient sites,